Jesus.
Wow.
Okay, let's settle down. Shush.
Now, let's start this little meeting of ours. First off, welcome everyone. Thank you for taking your time of your day off coming here. Now, I see a lot of new faces, so let me introduce myself. My name is Red Hound, Yui's other half. I am still head of security, so I still make calls when it comes to security questions. We're here for all of you new ones especially. If you have questions that need to be asked, this is the perfect opportunity. But we're also having this meeting for another purpose. I haven't been here for roughly 2 months, but I've seen some changes. Not good ones, in my opinion. Especially on the security side. I want to point out we have rules. We have certain structures that need to be followed. Of course we have to adjust for the situation. But there's also been complaints. Not only from customers, within staff itself. I'm not gonna bring up names. You're here to work. At least, that's what you signed up for. We want you to be welcome. We want you to feel welcome. But yet, a majority of you are bringing down the mood, questioning, being what they call sassy. Especially against head staff. This attitude is not okay. I don't know what has happened during this couple of months, but you will definitely see me more often here. This attitude is not tolerated, especially not when I'm around. I'm sorry that I have to bring the bad news up. But we all can improve. We all can learn. So I'm gonna start with a simple question here. A very simple one. I know a lot of you are adjusting and flexing here as well. So, I want to ask, those who feel security is their main focus here, raise your hands now. Then you're all under my jurisdiction. If you have questions, if you're unsure of anything, my words, or Sachi's first. If I'm not around, that's why Stan is here. But do remember, Chao, Mei, and Sin, their words also have a weight to them. Now, we're here to answer questions as well. If you have them, now is a good time.
Is the fairy wine watered down so humans don't die from it anymore? That's a thing that constantly gets questioned.
I can answer that. Our fairy wine, to keep it as potent as is, it actually is not watered down, and it does say we cannot give it to humans unless they understand the risk of them and they've signed on the waiver saying we're not liability at all. But it is still 100% pure fairy wine to my knowledge, and from all my inspections. And every time we get it, we're getting it straight from the source, so it is not watered down. So please do not give it to humans. Thank you. Continue, Mr. Red.
If there's no other questions, then do the bar head staff have something to say towards their staffer?
Well, I'll get up here. Same with you, Sin. Get up here too. You're one of them too.
I suppose.
Maybe you suppose so. Get your butt up here. Anyways, you want to start? Or you want me to start?
Go ahead. I'll
Okay.
cover anything. Fill in the
I mean,
gaps.
May, would you like to get up here too, or no? You're done. That's good. Like, assume that is a no. Anyways,
She's a little.
for those, yeah, it seems like a little stiff. For those who it looks like everyone mostly knows me, but for some of the garden people who don't know me, my name's Chow. I'm the bar staff, or I guess head staff manager of that. I'm also the main
Hi, Chow.
researcher and technician. Oh, geez, hi.
I have a
Quick as ever, aren't you, May?
now.
You're good. You're good. Mostly, all I wanted to say is keep this in mind that me and Sins, and of course our lovely May here, are all head staff, and we are taking mostly charge of the bar. Mostly these two are, and you should honestly heed their words and what they say as if it were coming from Sachi itself. Make sense? Short and simple. I'll let Sin talk because she's better talking than me.
Thanks. Okay. Well, with that being said, I don't know what topics you guys have already covered when it comes to the bar. One of the things that I've been seeing happening more often is that people are coming up with their own mixed drinks. This is perfectly fine. If it uses the stuff that's in the back, we've got a whole fucking wide selection of whatever the hell you could ever want. If there's something we don't have, just hit me up and I'll make sure we get it in stock. It's not really that difficult, not really that tough. However, if you do that, you are in charge of pricing it reasonably for what is being used to actually mix it. And if people are coming up, like the suicide, for example, if people are coming up and asking, I would say use your best judgment, but if you would like to throw a price around, it's really your call. We're not going to be putting anything on the menu that's a customized, personal sort of mixed drink, obviously, but, you know, if that's what you like, if that's something you enjoy making, feel free to use whatever we got. There was a brief incident where we had things being brought in by patrons to be used and, what is the word? I want to say dispensed, but I'm not really sure that's the right one. Given out behind the bar. Basically an outside source bringing alcohol or some sort of ingredient in that wasn't passed by Sachi, myself, and I don't believe May either, or Chow. That's not okay because we can't, like, there's a lot of stuff that we'd have to go through for security reasons, for health and safety reasons, to make sure that it's, well, sanitary, safe, etc. So don't do that kind of shit, please. This kind of goes to both bar and security. I've noticed that there are a lot of people who are normally security just randomly running behind the bar. When there's no bar staff there, what I would ask for you to do instead is to either find a bar staff that's currently on the floor, not at the front, to go man the bar, or come to me directly. That way, well, I can take a post. Or any of the head staff, honestly. So that way I can keep in check who's been where, we're not mixing up bar staff with security, and everything can be left to the people that are, well, in charge of managing it. Just a simple thing there. Bar staff as well. If you're behind the bar all fucking night, just say something and somebody can swap out with you. You don't have to sit there the entire night. I know that we've run into a couple issues between you, Michael, and you, Dandy. Not to be calling you both out, but you've had patrons that were bothering you and or harassing you at some point. If you need to leave the bar to come get security or come get somebody else, to get those people to fuck the hell off, please do so. You are all important to us, and even if it means leaving the bar for a hot minute just to go grab somebody to let them know so there can be space created between you and the other person, that's way more important than getting out a few drinks, in my opinion. Just one more thing. So, for the amount of staff behind the bar as well, 2 is preferred. At least 1, obviously, so it's manned. And I would say 3 is the maximum, so try not to get too many people behind there. Sachi and I were talking, especially too, I was trying to keep you in mind with this, Standy. When the renovations happen, having a wider bar or a longer bar situated somewhere else across the wall, that way we're not looking down the entire lobby, because I'm very aware that that can fuck with people's eyes, and trying to keep our wonderful hairstylist in mind. Just a more space in general, that way you're not
Yes, please.
feeling cramped or bumping into people and being uncomfortable.
That would be nice. Thank you.
If anybody has any questions in general about the bar, I'd be willing to take any of them at the moment. Alright. Joe?
I do have one to also provide as well. Since there's also an increase on synthetics. Any sort of related items for synthetics, we are not selling them. Oils in general, because there's been a couple of times in dealing with that banana oil.
Okay. Let me talk on that subject.
Thank you.
For those people trying to deal or vend their items or goods or whatever the hell you want to call them in the Lotus, that is prohibited. They can say, hey, I'm a seller, but they cannot physically sell in here. If they want to go do their business, they got to do it somewhere on our grounds. Make sense? So if you see someone, you got to let them know this, right? And in the first place, they shouldn't have any of their products on them. So just make sure security and bar, if you hear that, just tell them you can't do that here. You can't physically sell that product here. Make sense? I hope.
Yes, Kane.
Yes,
Got a question.
Nomad himself has been bringing in crates to. I know we kind of do stuff with that. Is that an authorized thing, or is that?
I
not?
haven't had any word from Sachi or myself from that, so until I get a different confirmation, it hasn't been authorized.
Question.
That's in one. Yes.
No.
Is it permissible to agree on trades without any goods, well, within the Lotus?
Mostly if it's as long as not something like a verbal contract, right? But if it's just like agreement to going to do it outside our grounds, that's fine. You can talk about it on our grounds. Again, we're neutral. But unless May wants to say something, she's walking up. Okay. Maybe you'll do it.
As long as the Lotus is not involved as a third party, people can make deals and contracts all they want.
Okay. That's good enough for me, thank you.
We have demons and stuff doing things like that all the time, so it's okay.
Oh. Okay, that's
Thank you,
fair.
May. Sweetheart behind the bar. And scary in person. And he means. Moving on to the next topic.
Hold on.
Okay, I'm getting stopped.
What's happening?
You raised your hand.
She was real pissed when someone was trying to sell like guns outside of the Lotus one day. So I think that's not allowed.
Isn't there a sweet potato man too?
Again, not on our grounds.
That's
Cool.
outside
Sweet
potato man was
is
authorized
within
by
our
Sachi.
permit.
Okay.
And just to clarify about Sweet Potato Man, Sachi actually went out and spoke to him, and he was given the okay.
When are we
Have a
getting a
question,
kitchen
Dan.
for Purple Hut?
Okay, first of all, I'm gonna answer this one personally. No Purple Hut. No, we are getting a kitchen in the next renovation, though.
Excuse me?
To my knowledge.
Did I overstep?
No.
Did I
Yes.
overstep?
No, shush.
I think
What do you
Sachi
mean, no
approved
Purple
of
Hut?
Purple Hut.
Is it Purple Hut? We're not calling it Purple Hut. No way.
No, that's content
Okay,
separate.
fine. Okay.
We're gonna do it in the bathroom when we get a kitchen. Thought you said I could do it in the kitchen. I got
Jesus.
Do it in the kitchen.
You'll have to take that up with Sachi.
If it passes my approval, then I'll let it sell.
A little off topic, but I don't know if I myself have noticed. I don't know if any of the other staff members have, but I've noticed a little bit more temporal stuff going on. Is there any rules in place concerning that from now on? Or I've noticed quite a fair bit more.
So when that happens, generally you want to go ahead and put them through the scan yet again, just to make sure they're not trying to bring anything in. Obviously, they still have their tickets, so they can get their shit whenever. That doesn't disappear or vanish. The bracelet does fall off, though, as soon as, well, they vanish, disappear, or whatever. So you do have to put another one on them. That's pretty much all there is to that.
Okay. Cool, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yes, Liz.
Yes. Talk.
Outside. Outside the doors. Can we use magic or no?
No, the boundaries of the relic and the force does it will send a part way to the, I guess you would call the landing deck. Not fully, but most of it. So it does affect outside surrounding. It's kind of hard to tell.
Halfway.
There you go.
Basically half.
Halfway. Oh, okay. Got it.
When at the halfway point, the abilities start coming back rather slowly but surely, I would assume. So maybe towards the very end of it, you might be able to do something, but it's again not going to be as strong as it normally would.
Huh.
Okay, Liz.
Okay. So, that being said, in the event that we get attacked by the church again, what's gonna happen to the golems? Are they null and void as soon as they pass that threshold, or what happens?
What I can fathom goes on with
I could
those.
answer.
Neko, please.
It does not negate the creature. It's magical.
So does the holy
That
get canceled
creature,
out?
however, cannot evoke a spell. Cannot shoot magic.
Okay. So the crystals that are in them that are holy, those aren't affected by that threshold?
Liz.
That is an object.
It's an enchanted object, basically. And people bring in their objects all the time to have put away. So if they did that, we'd essentially be, well, rendering them, well, not useless, but yeah. So that's why the golems still work as they do. Because they are powered more or less by said object.
I see.
I've got a question. So the relic's power, so it starts waning from around halfway across the outside. What's covering the garden itself? Is that still the relic, or is that something else?
Yes.
Still the relic. Okay.
It's still the relic. It's also applies to the VGL itself.
I believe the relic is moved for those whenever those places are renovated. Or
So-
rented out.
So the relic is transported.
There is a specific term that Q uses to refer to it. It is attuned to those locations. It is aware of them and works at them. If you have further questions on the relic, first of all, don't overthink it. But if you do, feel free to ask Q. Q can explain it in detail. They're the one who who has my outfit, but is prettier and purple. They're very nice.
Okay.
I like you're pretty.
Says more questions.
Yes, Viz. Speak.
When it comes to the relic, I've been telling people that it kind of makes them basically a normal, boring human. Is that accurate enough? Hi.
Like May said, don't overthink it.
But yes.
But yes,
But,
it brings them
yeah.
down to human equivalent level.
Okay. Cool.
Any other questions before we're gonna move on slightly different topics?
Dandy, did you have another question?
Oh, I'll ask later. It's not really that important.
You sure you can ask it now?
No,
Oh, you-
I'm fine.
This is
I'll
the
ask
perfect
later.
opportunity.
Yes.
I have been noticing people changing clothes at the security check.
Yeah.
Will we crack down on this?
To answer that, we will be starting to. This is kind of a word to touch on this and answer the question at the same time. Security and bar staff. We're going to be starting to touch down on the clothing a bit more. So for one, when they are coming to the door, and we notice them taking off an excessive amount of clothing, perhaps even flashing for a second, maybe just tell them not. We are going to be advertising that on the website too, to make sure they're ready and dressed all nicely for the day. And when they come through the scanner, we hope you guys can, you know, some of our guests wear really flashy and big outfits. You know, you maybe keep an eye on that. You know, check them as they go through the scanner. You know, and everything, just so they don't hurt anyone's eyes with maybe something too flashy. If that makes sense.
Yes, it can be hard on the eyes and cause headaches and grief.
Yeah.
They just have irritable bowel syndrome and they're just constantly farting shadows. We still have to
Huh?
discriminate?
What?
Yes, tell them to take their parts outside.
Yeah.
I was on fun shadows.
Don't overthink it.
That's gonna be May's signature line today. Don't overthink it. If we're ready to move on, topics else, anything else? Red, Sin.
Dandy.
Again, it's fine. Let's just move on. Honestly, I'll later date. It's fine.
Alright.
Ask it now. Right.
Please, for the love of God, just ask it now. Ask
I
it.
don't know what your question is.
Shoot.
Christ's sake, okay.
3.
So, for someone such as myself, then, if the relic inhibits magical abilities, how would that affect somebody like myself who's able to change outside of magic? Biologically,
Well, it hampers abilities, not only magic. So your ability to actually.
Similar range?
Yes.
You know, I can touch on this a little bit. Okay.
Okay.
That's fine.
Unless you would like.
Essentially, just a short explanation. Essentially, when you walk through those doors and you get hit by that boundary, whatever shape and form you're currently in, it's gonna lock you in that form, and then just leave, and you can come. You know, leave the boundary, you'll be able to change. Make sense?
Yeah, sure.
It's a very short explanation. Again, Q can explain it a lot more detailed for you. Okay then. I think we're good. I got all the questions out. Any latecomers? No? Okay. On to the kind of touching onto the little security kind of topic with, and Red, I'm sure we'll have something to say about this. We decided that we are actually gonna start giving security some more specific roles. Just doing more routine checks around the building and stationed on different parts, not just at the door, to give you guys some more variety, not look like statues in front of the door, if that makes sense. Yeah?
Can I be a statue on top of the building like a gargoyle? Or Batman?
No. Please. Maybe for Halloween, but not now. Red, any other security standpoints, things you want to touch on quickly?
Well, you mentioned that we're gonna stationize ourselves a little bit more practical. Depending on the numbers, that is something I want to go through after we had this meeting with at least security and those who consider themselves helping security as well. But other than that, I do have to also point out a thing. When we're stationed out, you're on duty. You need to call out when people are breaking the rules. That has also been a problem lately, from my understanding. Security seeing it, but not doing anything.
Do you have any specific instances so we have a good example to follow?
Walking on the railing.
The one outside or the one inside?
Inside.
Because I saw Kane yell at somebody for doing that. Exactly that.
But I've got reports and video evidence that security staff are not saying anything, yet they're looking at people that are...
Uh-oh, I'm being mounted. Oh dear God. Oh dear. Uh-oh. Oh, fucking hell. Yes.
You need to call
Meta,
people out.
thank
when
you
they're
for
breaking
the
rules.
raid,
We're
but
here
this...
to have a calm evening. We're here to protect customers as well. We don't want them to put themselves on risk while they're in here.
You have sort of... Yeah, I'm not... What the... This is not the best... It's...
But I will go more into detail
Okay,
on the
so basically,
proceedings
what is going on
later.
is that we are having a staff meeting. This is Purple Lotus. We are having a staff meeting. There's yeah, so we're just having a staff meeting. Basically the security staff are getting grilled for letting people just walk on
Remember,
railings.
you are here hired
Yes.
as security. You're meant to keep the place secure. You should not be afraid of approaching any of the patrons, telling them that they
And
are doing
yeah.
something wrong or that they are breaking a rule.
So they're getting
It feels
grilled.
skittish or to feel,
We're
well,
just
somebody else can handle it.
watching.
That's not appropriate behavior. You are the bouncers, the bodyguards, the security. You are in charge, while in here, of keeping them safe. Even from themselves, God forbid. I know there's a lot of stupidity that walks through these doors. But it's your job, our job,
Oh really?
staff, to, well, keep the place secure.
Ah.
Keep everybody safe.
Yeah, so this is a secret stream, and so secret streams are generally very much experimental, less
I'm being
interactive.
mounted.
Oh,
Oh
for
dear,
fuck's
oh
sake.
dear God,
Oh,
oh dear.
oh,
Uh-oh.
accordion coverers, thank you for the host.
I want to kick them out, but then I get pissed.
You-
Warning system. Or then people get angry at me.
You always have to give them a warning. No harassment inside here.
If they don't adhere to the warning, then they'll go to the section.
So, what kind of RP group were you part of,
Then
Meta?
you get someone else. Then you have to escort them to the entrance and explain. And if they don't listen more, either get a head staff or they have to go outside.
It's fine, don't worry about it. Hey.
People are here to enjoy the evenings. Not to come here and vent out on others so they can be more miserable.
What specific instances are you referring to, so I have an idea?
So, yeah, basically, Purple Lotus staff meeting.
I think she means Jed.
With the stupid big sword on his fucking back.
He's no
That kept mumbling at people.
The zombie.
He's no longer,
Regardless, I mean,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh yeah, the one who tried fighting me. Oh, he was nice. Well, not really.
You almost broke our register.
It's one of those. Oh, right, it was one of those. Was it like Vampire the Masquerade or something? Because it sounds like it's like Rampant Murder or something.
And may be only given one warning for immediate expulsion.
That being said, with that being said, before we get with you, Silva, with your question regarding the person and the man, the big sword, he's actually been currently banned from all of our sessions. So if he tries to come in, please show him the door and get him out. He's no longer welcome here at the Lotus until current updates. The big man, yes, and then the big sword who's been annoying us for a while. He's been currently blacklisted. His name is Jet. So
There have been a few others as well.
Yes.
The robots that have been coming in and eyeing people actively threatened one of our patrons, and they are no longer allowed within this establishment as well.
Yeah. Yeah, they are actually now a bit of a threat.
I was about to bring that up actually, but since you brought it up, do you mind telling what happened last night with you?
It was me and I still forget her name. Is it Lila?
Lila.
Yes. So Lila and I were walking back from the garden, and one of these robots did actually approach us, trying to scan us. And so when I was interfering with it trying to scan, it's turned hostile. So it's tried attacking us. We did manage to deal with it, but the thing is that I think it's got some way of being able to communicate with others of its kind remotely, because I could hear off in the distance that there were more approaching, so we had to make a break for it. So it seems like be careful what you do in front of one of them, because it will affect encounters with all of them, I suppose.
Did you destroy the chassis?
It had red glowing hands. The rings were glowing red. This one, it seemed to have electric. It seems to have like powered hands or something, like electrical hands. They sparked very brightly. They were like, that was rather intimidating, but
A white mask on top of its head, appearing to be humanoid.
yeah,
A baby face, to be more precise.
baby face.
Provide more efficiency involving them.
That's what I would call it.
Huh.
It was a porcelain mask.
Was the chassis
So the
destroyed?
one.
So okay, I can actually the chassis. What happened was that Lila actually spiked it through the head, and we opened the back panel. It was just a brain. It was just a brain, no cybernetics, nothing like that. Just a brain, and having that spiked through wasn't enough to kill it, because after a while it started reanimating again. What else I can say is that on the back of them is like a corkscrew cap, which you can unscrew and look inside. The one that we checked was empty on the inside, as in its body was completely hollow. Other than that, I'm not too sure what to say. I'd probably say decapitating it would probably be the best way of disabling them, and otherwise autopsy, just poking the brain a bit, seeing if that has anything special. I don't know.
Well, what I want to come with this is basically, they are not welcome within any Lotus establishment, especially when they're talking about purifying. I'm afraid that they might be something of a holy essence of some kind. Those of you who are affected by holy should be careful with these. With that being said, as said security, they are not welcome within our establishment anymore. If they try to, and if you have to, force them out. They're a threat to our patron as well. Anything else?
So yeah, I think no, there's nothing wrong with robots in particular. Just those ones in particular.
If one of these units is pairs, it appears. Should I acquire it in a storage unit?
We'll hold off for that. That's a talk for me and you later to deal with that. Before we move on, I know Silva had a specific thing they were going to ask. Sorry, Silva. Please, you may go with your question.
Yeah, it's kind of about more security than anything else. With the recent break-in, I've noticed that we have brought this up, that we're doing rounds around the place if we have enough people, correct?
That's correct.
Now, if we do see somebody tampering with the office or randomly in the office, consider it a strike or a kick-out.
Remove it immediately.
Yeah, we don't tolerate it. Somewhere where there should not be, get them out of the building immediately and to tag them and let us know immediately too. We don't hold lightly to that type of thing.
The only area that I've ever really said to maybe give them a second chance is the performer's room. And if you see them go in there again, obviously they're gone.
Now, this comes to the secondary question because sometimes myself, I can lose you guys at some points in time. What do we do if we can't find any of the head staff?
We have the intercom first off. If you need backup, use that. We try to be at least a certain amount of numbers. Remember, everyone is in equal strength here. 2 against 1 is usually more advantage if they want to start fighting. We don't have to go that far, but you never know how far other people will go. We all have to be cautious in here. If you have to escort them with force, do it. Yes, Nika.
Additional note. In terms of skinning, those with lotuses are not restricted. Any person not acting correctly is a disadvantage.
This was the last thing. Sorry for the mountain of questions, but the people
Yeah.
who are considered blossoms, are there any restrictions removed or no?
Restrictions how?
I believe they mean
Well,
other realm.
as you guys say, you have the
Ah.
Lotus, aka you guys can use magic, stuff like that while you're inside the building. I know blossoms are still pretty low down, but it's more of a curiosity.
To answer that
That's
fully,
up to
then,
Sachi.
yeah.
Okay.
Essentially, yeah. You're pretty much in the same boat as trainees. Mine is the bracelet. Before we move on with any questions, I just want to. Oh, never mind.
I was simply.
They did raise their hand before.
I was simply going to say something really quick to add on to what Silva had asked. As a Blossom, you are now more trusted than a normal trainee. We've seen that you're capable of doing your job, and well as security, probably allowed to bring your own weaponry with you at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
So consider that a restriction being lifted.
Okay, thank you.
Anyway, Cordelia?
I just wanted to ask if our cameras record audio as well as video. I know they get video, but I don't know if they take audio, so.
I believe that's
Right.
something you have been working with here.
This is because this is the staff shit going on.
Give me. It was. Could you kind of repeat the question again? It seems my head was a bit absent-minded. Sorry, I've been getting over a cold. So I just.
Do our cameras record audio as well as video?
Yes, they do.
That's all I needed to know.
Of course. Again, sorry, my head's been absent-minded. With that being said, any other questions or any statements from other head staff currently? No? Nickel?
In relation to the previous statement about bringing weapons and please be advised, the relic is still in effect.
Yes.
That is true. If your weapons are magical enhanced and in shape, kind, and form, they will be restricted.
So I had mentioned Sorry. So I mentioned earlier that what do we do in the case of if we cannot find a head staff member or somebody higher up? Well, I would suggest that, well, use your common sense, use logical thinking, etc. Maybe get a consensus from the security staff. If it's something that's not immediately life-threatening,
Hey,
maybe a staff member,
Darkman, thank you
patron,
for the follow.
somebody maybe just misbehaving, and warning them isn't seemingly doing the trick, and you need maybe just confirmation from a head staff member on what to do. I would say you could probably attempt to at least contain them or ask them to stay put for a while until
Yeah.
a head staff member can be located. There's normally at least one of us, whether manager or representative,
This
here
is
at a time. So
behind the scenes.
if they're causing issues, don't feel shy about having them sit tight for a minute, the person that's causing the problems in question, until you can find someone. We don't ask
Hey,
that you take any
RP.
super rash action, like harming the person in
RP
question,
staff
etc.
meeting.
Obviously, kicking them out is a bit much unless, again, it's actually life-threatening or threatening a staff member, things like that.
Well said. Okay then. We can move on. Unless, again, any final comments? Okay then.
Just really quickly, the blossom, the blossom status does that also apply to sunflower? I mean, I could guess, but I just want to make certain.
No. The blossoms are for the late night shifts, while the sunflowers are those who want to work earlier. If you want to help out in the evening shift, then you have to reapply.
Okay.
We do accept help if some of you want to come to the Lotus Garden, since it's relatively new, and since it's so much more staffers in the evening shift at the Purple Lotus. You're welcome to help out, but I need to still approve that you're helping out. You just can't walk in and say you're gonna help out.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. Oh, we.
Okay then.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah.
Hopefully we can move on.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's just
The
like
next topic we're going to be coming to is kind of what we talked and touched upon a little bit before at the beginning of this kind of meeting. We're going to, like we said, we're going to be assigning security some more designated roles, as well as the bar staff, and we wanted to touch upon this thing that's been kind of thrown around as people have been working on the bar and security. We're going to try to, what's the word? Appoint you to a specific role that we trust that you guys can fill. But with that being said, is you're welcome still to help the other security or bar staff, I guess you could say, with approval of the head of that unit, you could say. I think Red can help me on touch on this a bit more than what I can.
Yeah, this is like watching a TV show. Except the part of the TV show.
Well, we will go through this, because after this meeting, I want to bring everyone that is at least involved with security. We're gonna go through some of the routines again, just to make sure that everyone is on the same page. While we're doing that, we will point out what we're thinking about these new roles we're gonna give out.
With that being said, I wanted to point upon just kind of getting the whole cast of, you know, who your manager and head staff are. You all know most of them already, just to clarify, but as you know, Red and Stan is technically Red's stand-in if he's not here. If that's correct, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Sin is always a head staff. I'm a head staff too, as well as, well, my new assistant, you could say. and I would like to introduce them so you can all kind of understand who's going to be one of your new managers as well. Can you get up here? It's you. There's only one key in the building right now.
What?
Get over here. Everybody listen up, okay?
Is this
If
the
I'm not
part we
here-
object or forever hold our peace? I'm just kidding.
Yes, it is forever hold your peace, because that's obligated. If I'm not here, okay, well, you be quiet. Because you're married to him. Will you shut up? How about that? You take your little black and white and sit it down on the chair. Anyways,
Thank you.
getting back on topic, sorry. Keen's gonna be my stand-in, essentially. If I'm not here, and it's under mostly security, because I'm gonna slowly bar to them, you're gonna be my manager. So meet one of your new managers here, okay? You listen to him.
I have to listen to him anyway.
Fair enough. It's a big down for saying anything. Anyways, with that other shocking thing. Anything else you want to talk about, Mr. Stanley? I know you've been kind of having some things written up too that you wanted to share.
You guys been taking care of control of everything. But in general, I want to reiterate what you guys been saying so you can guys understand correctly. In general, even if Greyhound is not here, myself, Chow, now Kane, May, Sane, or even Sachi, in general, your work is around here. We are the final call. You all, in general, need to do it into your common sense of your positions. Security will do their security. We'll understand that their patrons are their first priority. Bar staff as well. We all go try to make sure that our patrons enjoy their stay here at the casino, at the Sunflower, in general, so they can come back, have an experience, tell other people from other dimensions or whatever fuck they come from. Is something that they can enjoy. We are here to make an understanding that this is a safe place for them. A place for entertainment, for a good time, for relaxing. And to spend some time and us earn some money, but that's beside the point. You are all capable, you all prove on the interviews that you have a set of skills. Make sure that you are understanding that you are capable of that. If you have questions, that's why we're here. But that's also a part of your job. You need to do something, make sure that you're a staff of the Lotus. And you need to stand in that position because people are going to be looking for you for answers. And if you don't know the answers, that's why we all are here for. You can ask another staff member, you can ask us as staff. But if they see you doubting about that, or they're just not complying on that position that you are on, they will not have the good experience they deserve. Make sure to read on the rules. Make sure to understand that you're also patrons here as well, but now with a more value. That as well. Hope you enjoy your stay in general. We appreciate all of your time. We thank you so much. We have been handling a lot of losses. Not everything is involving the cleanest areas of Sapphire City on its own. It's understandable that you need time to deal on your private lives, but keep in mind that we also have to come in here and show a face. If you can't, by any sort of medical situation, or because you're dealing with another one outside, please give us information about this. We can either provide an opinion, assistance, maybe in the last case, but in the end, you also have lives. Make the most value of them, of course.
Oh yeah.
That aside,
Thursdays, Fridays, and
I'll kick your
Saturdays.
asses if you do not do your works.
And he has my approval of kicking your asses.
Jeez.
Noted.
Hell.
Okay then.
Good luck getting your
You
cookies
just-
if that happens, Stan.
What a shame.
Thank you,
If
Stan.
nothing else,
I'm
I want
good
to
for
go
my
through the
part.
routines.
Be my ghost.
Right then. Those who are working with security, in any shape, kind, or form, please follow me to the entrance.
Hmm. Actually, that's a point. Do we have anyone who? Do we technically
I'm
count
not
for?
calling you my manager.
Do we technically count for that, or like? Do we actually have specific security
entirely
roles?
sure.
Do we have specific security
Anyways,
roles
the
at
rest
the?
of you, we'll be working on some bar routines and scheduling later on, unless Sin would like to do it now. Until then, we'll be just waiting until they're finished up there, so we can have a little bit more space to work with. Make sense?
Mhm.
Alright. If we don't touch upon it today, then we can touch on it next time. But just letting you know, you feel free to just talk among yourselves now, and thank you for listening.
Well, I mostly handle the counter and
I mean,
shall I say the
likewise.
cooking.
Honestly, I did too.
That said, I don't really know who at the garden actually deals with security. I mean, it's mostly. It has mostly been whoever's at the door. Do you
And I'm
think?
usually only there if I'm asked.
Yeah, I mean, is Wait, is Mary is Mary supposed to be the security?
Never have asked.
Who would-
Probably should do that next time we see her.
You know what? Maybe it might be worth us just going over there just so we're filled in just in case. I'm probably going to go over just to see.
Well, it will be over things that happen at this establishment and not at ours.
Yeah, okay, but still, I think it's just might be worth checking out.
Even if we just stand in the back.
Hmm.
But you also need to improve your social skills. Make sure that you understand that there's going to be a possible situation happening, and just because you're at the door 24/7 will not polish those. It's understandable to understand a possible threat that's going to be coming around, or one that is hiding and just enters to taking care of someone else. We may probably deal with someone in the future that can come in, disguise itself as a patron, and take someone in here just because of a silent threat they have around them. It has happened a couple of times, even in front of your eyes. You need to be careful. If you know about something, rumor or something, please tell to other securities. We have the intercoms. We always keep an eye, we always keep alerts. We always keep information towards us. We do not hide any secrets just because of your personal affairs or situations. If you have something that would like to share that will be affecting everyone else, please be open, be reasonable. We need to know this vital information because one person fucks up, it affects everyone. And if you don't understand that clearly, we will require you to, well, take in consideration that this is not a job you're fitted for. We work as a team. We're security. We make sure that these accidents don't happen.
Kane, I saw you raising your hand.
As for positions, I know a lot of people get clumped up at the front. We remember sometimes people clog up together and cause a lot of noise or start trying to yell over each other. Please make sure to approach them and tell them to disperse a bit. The casino is pretty wide and vast. Sometimes those people also collude around the stairs. In terms of positions of if you want a place to stand around, I know it's nice to communicate with each other, conversate. But if there's already two people at the door watching the door, let's try to go to a different position. For instance, we need people's eyes upstairs. Just up on the railings is a good place, or up on the upper balcony is a good spot. That way you can listen to conversations if they get too dramatic or something like that downstairs. You can keep an eye on. And of course you can have your own conversation. Important that we keep our eyes out on other individuals. For instance, that incident that happened with the reporter who tried to sneak into the office. Luckily, they were caught right before they entered. But keep an eye on things like that. We need to be moving around. And like the instance, for an example of trouble that we want to look out for, people jumping down from the balconies is a big no-no. You don't want people jumping down and somebody's walking down below them and they didn't see them and say, oh, whoops, I just... That's not allowed.
I want to point out that we also have to be good examples while we're working. For example, I'm sorry to point this out, Persephone. That, what you're doing right now, is not okay during the job, for example. And I've seen a lot of you doing that. We have shares around the establishment, and those of you who are sitting right at the entrance like that, that is not okay in my book. Please, you need to show, especially if you're working, standards at least. Be reasonable as well with why you're doing what you're doing.
Be professional.
Because...
Simple words.
Yes. So please, do not stand on the railings or sit there. Cordelia.
Can I do anything about the people who come in and, like, for hours on end just walk around in circles and don't say anything to anyone?
We want to approach those individuals. We want to approach them and make sure they're not up to anything, any no good. A good way to, well, if they're having trouble, we can identify it, as well as get to know them. So if they are causing trouble in the future, plotting it, we'll at least have a heads up.
Persephone.
Speaking of people who wander, what are we supposed to do about the people that wander around outside forever for like an hour in a day?
We need to kick them out of that spot in general.
Cool.
Really, they're just loitering outside of the casino.
Cool, got it.
That also applies to the people who are waiting downstairs. They're literally just overflowing, and it's too much. It's happened a lot lately, and we need to stop that in general. We're going to be calling out certain individuals to do that, but we also, most of the main staff will go around that. Yes, Vice. Vice, bees, what? Come on, speak up.
May knows what I'm going to talk about, or basically, if we have someone who's having an issue with being able to speak, and they don't seem to be able to shake their head or anything, or give us any sort of indication that they actually understand, that people are speaking to them, how far of an extent do you want us to go to try to accommodate them? Especially in the event that they have a fire alarm coming out of their mouth.
Oh, that.
In that case, that's the kind of thing you pull a head staffer for, and they'll take care.
Okay.
Specifically, whoever the host is that night.
Okay, that's what happened. Anyways, May got involved, but I was just curious how to officially.
I gave them
handle
every
that.
chance, and then we let Sachi handle.
Force temporal distortion.
Yes.
Any other questions?
Right. Then I will go to the next step here. The procedures. I've noticed there has been a little miscommunication. Are you dealing with the entrance when people are entering? You're doing fine. It's when people exiting I've noticed. So, when someone has the ticket, it's not our job as security to go to the back and grab the items. You should direct them to the bar. It's another situation if there's not enough bar staff, obviously. We have to adapt after the situation. But if you see there's 2 or 3 people behind the bar, please. Because we always need to have someone at least be prepared to either people entering or people that are gonna exiting that don't have a ticket. We want it to be smooth. Yes, Kane.
What if patrons brings in something that's quite large or quite heavy that a bar staff member wouldn't be able to carry? Is it okay if we assist?
Well, what I usually do is ask if they can open dimensional portal or a portal of any kind. A lot of these patrons usually have some type of things like that. They can just store it away. As soon as they get the bracelet, they can access that. Remember, the bracelet stopped portaling. Right, with that being said, another thing I've noticed during this week I've been here. What is it with people coming in with their own glass?
The patrons
I've
are
noticed
coming in with their own glass.
Yes, glass, flask, canteens.
Are we supposed to take those?
Yes, I'll tell that right now. Especially when it comes to canteens. I'm gonna say this in a matter. Like, do not overthink, but at the same time, for example, a pen can be a lethal weapon, but we don't confiscate a pen. However, a canteen can be used as a blunt weapon. It's like saying, someone that is blind, yes, they need to have their staff to walk around. But if you notice that they have enhanced ability, where they can use the staff as a weapon, you take that away, obviously. Then they're lying about their ability, for example. We don't want to take risks like that. Don't overthink too much. It's basically common sense, in my opinion. But you have to make your own call on that as well. But I'm saying here, when it comes to the glasses, please. In other restaurants, casinos, they would not allow that in. I'm just saying. Persephone, you were first.
Plus, if they bring in their own drinks, they won't buy them at the bar, and then we won't get tipped. That's
Once
all.
again, consumables are supposed to be storage.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
was just gonna say there's a reason why
thank
we
you for
say
the follow.
these items or
Wish for charm.
consumables. You don't just say weapons.
Right, Bruce.
In the event that, sorry, I think the only reason that maybe somebody got past security with that is maybe because they were confused themselves about how to classify it. In which case, how are we supposed to really identify that without them just bringing it up? I mean, at that point, if they're noticed using it, of course we take action then. But if they're trying to fill it up at the bar or something like that, it's probably on bar staff or someone who's around to hear to crack down on that. But beyond that, I mean, unless we know that they're doing it or they tell us up front that they have it, how exactly do you want us to really crack down on that? Do you want us to ask specifically if they have a flask or something like that?
You can always ask. If they're saying it's their own from the outside, obviously, how it went through the security, I don't know. But then you have to confiscate it. But if it's just a special flask from the bar, then that's fine.
More or less, sometimes we can't avoid those, and sometimes they bring them in anyways.
Mhm.
As soon as you see it, identify it, and correct it. Don't make too big of a deal out of it.
I have an additional question. I've seen one of these cases where, before coming to the casino, they've actually used magic to disguise it or transform it into something else, and then snuck it in with their bag, and then after getting their bag, they then take it out and then return it back to normal. Is that something that's supposed to be able to happen? Or not sure. I just remember the whole incident of
Use
the.
any magic here.
Well, I just remember.
Said it.
I just remember the whole incident of that demon dog drink, and I had to shove herbs up someone's nose. So.
If somebody's bringing something that's not on our menu, they are not permitted to serve it here.
No.
Like their drink or whatnot.
But.
If they want to. What's your question?
They smuggled it in, is the question. Is that.
Shouldn't be able to.
They shouldn't be able.
To. That's what their scanner's for.
Scanner identifies any objects on them, and it pikes them up on the scan. If they sneak it in otherwise, then we'll give them a warning accordingly and make sure that they don't do it again.
As far as I know, that incident was outside and not inside the building itself.
So you're saying they keep the drink outside the building and they came in?
No, when it happened, they were outside.
If they come in intoxicated, that's not on us. Is that what you mean?
No. When that incident happened, they were out there and not in here.
It's still our property, though, so they're not allowed to do it.
Yeah.
And the relic should stop it from happening.
As long as they're past
So
that
if they
threshold.
do say that they did that, just tell them no.
But if they're not past that threshold, then it doesn't matter.
Gotcha.
Also, in that aspect, do not bullshit public information about those stuff in general, because people will still try to be smart asses and will try to pass the threshold and do their own abilities or sneak under stuff, just in general. So people don't try to be smarter or try to, in order to avoid the rules in sort of way. Everyone has their own mentality. Some are chaotic, and they really are the most annoying ones.
Okay to lie.
Oh, that reminds me. Sorry, I didn't raise my hand, but what do you do with patrons that can only say one word over and over and over again? Or how do you...
If they are understanding of you, then it's fine. If they're just repeating the same thing over and over and not comprehending your conversation, then kindly ask them to go to daycare or something. We don't need them here.
Oh, speaking of daycare, what's our policy on children? Because I see a lot of children come in here.
That's something that we were supposed to talk about earlier. Any children under the age of 16 must have an escort of an adult at all times while they are in the establishment. They are 18, they are permitted to enter, although they are not allowed to partake in drinks or gambling.
Got it.
So we kick out the kids.
Kick out the kids. They're not being. You don't have a guard. If they try to enter in, you have to ask them. It's a good idea to, if an individual seems young of age, ask them their age. If they come by, ask them of their guardian. If their guardian is not present, tell them to wait until their guardian is present. If their guardian is already inside, identify if the person can be pulled in to communicate with them. If the guardian is a staff member should not be working on the job while keeping an eye on them. There was this incident like that with Michael and his adopted, I believe. If your kid is there and the other guardian that was responsible for them leaves, it's okay to take a day off and attend to them. But we'd ask that you give us a head up beforehand. If they are going to be around and we need you as a staff, make sure that they get home so that you can continue to your work.
What about Sachi's children?
Sachi's children, he is responsible for them as well. If he is not present, I believe JJ's been taking care of some of them. They are more well known with her staff. If they are present and he is not, you can tell them they need to be here with you, unless somebody is willing to take responsibility for them.
any further questions before I move on? No? Good. So, when it comes to these patrols, positioning as well, the things we have to keep in mind is we have to enter the areas where people are not supposed to be. I usually go with the common rule: every 10 or 15 minutes, someone needs to check the whole establishment if possible. Not mandatory, depending on how the situation is at front. But if it's possible, someone take a patrol, see how it is, and see if someone is somewhere they should not be. We don't want people to go in where they should not be. That has become a thing lately, and we don't want that. We're growing more and more. That means we need to take more and more actions and responsibility. As Kane pointed out, someone should be up at the balcony, if possible. And if that person is up there, I would recommend that person go into the room outside of Sachi's office as well, from time to time. Check how it's in there.
So basically, we should have some security downstairs and some security upstairs.
If possible, depending on the numbers, yes.
Okay.
It's a slow night. One security on the door, one security roaming upstairs. Fine.
For the case of the garden, would that be the same as? Would that be for us to go into the private rooms?
When it comes to the private rooms, we just tell them that they should inform us. Because if people enter and suddenly a temporal rift happens while they have locked the door, that's gonna be an issue. So, in a sense, yes, it would be nice from time to time look if someone is using them, but remember to knock at least.
Okay, duly noted.
Otherwise you will see something you wouldn't want to see.
There is one thing that I'd like to talk about. All of us here are primarily security staff. I think this was briefly touched on earlier, but if we notice that somebody is not working the bar, if we cannot do it, then we just make sure we find somebody who can. If we are comfortable working for both, don't just go back there without permission. Make sure to talk to the bar staff, as it is their designation. Do so. I'm pretty sure they'll have the same situation for themselves. They will ask us to assist, or we will ask them.
I kind of work both very often, and I applied under both bar staff and security.
Which would you like to take as a priority?
Bar staff.
Make sure to speak to Sin to be fully informed of their changes or the like, so you'll be able to accommodate it accordingly. If you wish to be transferred, you can do that. Make sure to talk it out. Talk to your security staff. Make sure things.
The head staff do, but not majority of them.
Sure anyone who does go
I
back
don't
there
think.
for security has actually been trained for that stuff too.
I'm not sure actually.
Because I mean, I used to be bar staff, so I remember everything.
I myself am not very acquainted with the bar, and I just do the bare minimum that I slowly picked up along the way. I assist where I can, but I'm not fully equipped to do everything. We assist where we can, but from now on, we want to make sure we have a verification from the lead of that position, or our own personal lead.
Okay.
On that note, when we are performing security checks and when we are roaming around, be mindful and keep an eye on people's outfits. Make sure they are not overly taxed with layers. You get my drift. Inspect them constantly in case someone did slip by and is causing headaches to someone. Just so we are aware. We'll make a note of it, or if the situation deems it
By
necessary
that they mean laggy avatar.
issue, pull them off to the side and communicate with them accordingly.
Laggy avatars are bad. Very bad.
I'm just gonna assume that I should tell whoever's like hosting
That works too.
about it.
And then they will communicate.
Right. On that note, I also want to bring up another thing. When it comes to the performance room and upstairs White Lounge, even though you're staff, you can't really book that place without permission, or even asking the head staffers. You can't just lock off an area and saying that you have an important conversation without approval from us. Sachi has the final word, but if Sachi's not here, us head staffers and the managers have to make a call about that. If you don't have that approval and you're taking that on yourself, even though we're within the vicinity, that ain't okay.
I want to make it a regular habit that the performer room is a private conversation room. You need to have one yearly, and it's important. Make sure you get it okayed and keep it brief. Hopefully, we will have a staff room available to us to have those kind of conversations for us. We need to have one with a patron. That's a bit more complicated. We'll discuss it on point, depending on the situation.
Well, but I want to go in a little on the topic, as well as mixing with the jobs. If you don't know how to work behind the bar, but you wish to
Temporal rift.
speak up, we're willing to teach. We're here to help each other
So
out.
basically a temporal rift drags them out and they have to come back in again.
But don't go behind the bar if you don't know how to do a simple drink at least. Learn the basics at least. Alright. I don't really have that much more to say. Other than, I want you all to... I need you all to manage more up to actually tell people they're doing wrong in here. That has been the biggest concern, and from the reports I've got lately. Once again, it's our responsibility that people are safe and having a nice time here. But it's not okay that they're breaking our rules while in here.
It also goes to you all as well. I would like to address a topic involving your private lives in general. I understand that you all come and have some other sort of job or other sort of way of income, either by hobby or whatever you do. To be join with a great group outside from the Lotus. Keep in mind that we appreciate your appearances in here. We understand that there's emergencies, that you're going to be randomly a call from someone and you have to burst out the door because someone is injured or something mission-wise involving someone relative is really going bad. We'll take in consideration those, but we need to understand beforehand what's happening. A little bit of a simple sentence will provide. Just, we need presence. We'll also be keeping in mind that if people stop coming out of nowhere, we'll take that in consideration for your safety. And if it keeps happening, we'll have a personal talk with you all Individually, doesn't have to be in a group, obviously.
Hey, According Covers, thank you for the follow.
If it's happening, we'll probably have to reconsider your position as a staff member. We don't want to take anything personal, don't consider this an attack, but we want to make this as most efficient as possible. We don't want someone to do fake promises in general and say that they're gonna do everything to come back, but in the end they don't show that in actions.
Essentially, a heads up is appreciated.
If you have no more
Okay.
topics about security, then I only have one more thing. Right. I will inform the others as well, but... Sai, Panda, if you may...
Hmm?
I want to introduce, at least, people from the Lotus Garden. If you haven't met them, they will have this special name tag that they're wearing as well. That doesn't mean that they're working here, but I want you to at least know them. They're part of the Lotus family, after all. And I also want to bring up, if you ever decide to come over to the garden and you want to help out on work, if I'm not there, or Stan, please, go to them. They are willing to help as well. They are most knowledgeable about the rules there as well.
You'll mostly find me behind the bar and the kitchen.
Including aside from Nyanko and Panda, there's Lila who provide, I suppose, assistance. She is also working around here as security, but she also provides support to the cafe. And also Mary. Mary as well is also part of that group. Alright, anything more? Round?
No, nothing else. However, I will say I will start showing up more. At the casino, at least. I'm gonna keep my eyes on you, so don't slack.
This worked for me.
That includes you, Stan.
Maybe he should have some candy.
Cool. Are we done?
I consider this done.
Were we gonna be shown our positions or something?
We explained it, but if you really want to, then let's head upstairs.
No, that's okay.
I have a more interesting question involving that. It literally is store or roaming around.
Oh, that's it? I thought there was outside stuff too.
If you notice people outside, approach them.
Okay.
We'll have routine people. We'll send you guys out to make sure that check up on things. But just expect it. But for a point of reference, keeping an eye on the things from the upper balcony and checking the white room when you are not at the door is safer. Or is checking the performance room too. Socialize with the people, get to know them, understand if they have any issues that might come in. Rumors travel well, and it is good to be aware of them. Better to be blindsided by something. Any other questions?
What? We're done. That's why I left. Don't look at me.
You're fine.
Okay, good.
You're fine, Persephone.
Keep in mind about Dr. Lucy Lee. She is our doctor on call. We also have other supports in general around here who will provide in case you are injured or any other people is injured. But keep in mind, we are not a hospital. If someone comes injured from the outside, we immediately call a hospital support on the outside as well. We do not take care of injuries from other people.
And if you do come and visit the Lotus Cafe, I can perform minor medical
Some elements also appreciate that security will know a little bit of simple healthcare in general, covering bandages, simple scratches, or even the basic of CPR. It'll be
I can
most
kind of
useful in
stitch
general.
stuff up, but it looks pretty gross.
Wait, is CPR like the one where you're supposed to like give someone the kiss of life?
I think that's all for now.
I refuse.
Yes.
Feel free to head on home or stick around. Try to
Be careful, Michael.
It's nice that you both showed up, actually.
Mhm. Yeah. I think. Yeah. I mean, there wasn't. I don't think we have anyone specifically designated for security, so I just thought we should turn up just to establish.
personal time.
Well, here's the thing, and how I'm handling it. The security at the Lotus Garden is easily adaptable to the casino. If a worst case scenario happens, if there's actually no security here at all, I would believe you two could at least adapt if it's really, really necessary.
Mhm.
But that's also up if you two want to help.
I've been turning up anyways, and I've been filling some of the staff members with the events of the garden, if in case they aren't aware. So yeah, just providing updates, and yeah, I do generally mill around here for the first 2 hours. So, yeah. But yeah, once again,
This is the reason I'm proud over you.
Mhm.
And this is why I need to come back here. That example right there.
So, just... Okay.
It's nothing wrong to ask questions, but take it overboard like that. I'm glad that my other half hired you.
Hmm.